There is a very big debate on the topic of critical race theory. For some people, might not be a big deal, maybe because they don't follow what's going on. But it is very, very big, huge, controversial topic on the critical race theory. I'll just go and say what is that. But among the landmark issues most recently is on the election in Virginia for the governor. We have seen the Democratic person lost it to Republican person, and the Democratic candidate and the Democratic Party is pushing towards what is called the critical race theory, and the Republican candidate and many other Republicans are against the critical race theory. But this is going now to the education here in America. There are so many states, either they are forcing or they are requiring the critical race theory to be taught in the classes. And we are talking about grade school. Is it allowed? Is it okay or not? That has been the biggest thing. But what is critical race theory? And is it important to be taught in schools? And especially, for my case, especially in grade school. I'm going to get into this discussion as a black person. I'm going to get into this discussion as immigrant. And I'm going to get into this discussion as a scholar to analyze this one and giving what are the advantages, but what will be the disadvantages of teaching critical race theory to schools, especially to young children. Welcome everyone. My name is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, talking to you from Missouri, United States of America. If today is your first time to come across my YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Okay. Why this person lost the election? Just among the biggest thing was the supporter of critical race theory. That has been the center of the entire campaign. Why, if you go to the school board, parents board meetings, you'll see a lot of parents are upset, whether they are black or white. I don't want to say that the people who are pushing this one are this race, the people who are against are this race. But I've seen both the parents who are black, who are white support. I've seen parents who are black, who are white also against the critical race theory. So, why it is going to bring a big debate? So, this is from Reuters. They say, critical race theory, a once obscure academic concept, has become a fixture in the U.S. debate over how to teach children about countries' history and race relations. Conservatives have invoked the term in schools and the State House nationwide to denounce curricula and the policies they consider too liberal. However, the term was misunderstood and misused. I don't know about that. What is critical race theory? They say it's an approach of studying U.S. policies and institutions that is mostly taught in law schools. Its foundations date back to 1970s when law professors, including Harvard Law School, Derek Bell, began exploring how race and racism have shaped American law and society. The theory rests on the premise that racial bias, intentional or not, is debated into the U.S. laws and institutions. Black Americans, for example, are incarcerated at much higher rates than any other racial group, and the theory invites scrutiny of the criminal justice system's role in that. So there are so many things. So we know that today racism is sustainable more through law, policy, and practice than through individual bias and discrimination, said the Boston University law professor Jasmine Gonzalez-Rose, who also is teaching critical race theory. So there are so many things. This is from from the person who is talking about this one and the importance of it, that is going to touch about that one. But majority of the parents, those who are against the critical race theory, see this theory is not, because this one has been coming up from the summer 2020. It has been part of election. So instead of coming as something constructive, it has come as the thing to divide Americans based on race. And even if they are saying that critical race theory is about the law, why this, blah, 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 this, it might have a good intention. I have no problem with that. But the practice of it is teaching one race that you have been discriminated, you have been, everything is against you because you are black. So at the age of 4-year-old, 5 years old, grade school, a kid is taught that you are enemy, you are poor, you are going to be in prison, you are going to do this just because of this white person. So you are dividing the nation from that very age. That is what I'm against. That's number one. I'm against this critical race theory because it's going to teach people to be a victim. They are not teaching about, okay, we know these are the problems. We know, like, maybe it is difficult for black people to get the loan, maybe VM loan, to get the home loan, to get auto loan. But why? Because of the credit system. So instead of teaching how, or emphasizing on teaching like primary school, in grade school, in high school, junior high, to the college, just some of the courses, instead of teaching critical race theory, why can't you teach what is the importance of using to use credit? Why can't you teach those kind of things on how money management, using a credit card versus debit card, what are the benefits of one over the other? Why all rich people are not using debit card, they are using credit card? And what is the proper use of using those? Those are the things, if you teach them, especially black children, black parents, or teach at school, you are going to bring equality, because all this is about money, my friend. So if you teach someone you are poor because of this white person, these white people, my wife is white, is coming from a poor family. So don't think that all white people were slave owners. So let's not go there. People think that every white person was superior on a slave. No. Majority of every white person you see here, majority of them, they're just broke like you. Very few rich, powerful, they own them. Just like now, there are very few people who are rich, billionaires. So what I want you to understand is, we don't need to divide the people. Let's go to find what are the things which make black people to be more committing crime. What are the things which make more black people to go into prison? And instead of saying the law is against you, let's go and teach, okay, if you go to school, if you attend school, if you finish school, you have a good credit, you'll have this type of chances. And again, white people, whether you like it or not, the parents, majority of them are introducing their children to credit card, money management very early. I don't say all, majority of them. So that means someone is finishing college, has a perfect credit score. Someone is finishing high school, is having a very good credit score. That is a start. When white people have a problem with depression, have the problem, let's say, with the money usage or something like that, they are okay to accept that I need to go to see a therapist. But we as black people, we don't want to do those. That's why you see a lot of black rich athletes are going, it's easier for them to be bankrupt than the white one. The white one is very difficult because of being, these are the principles. So let's not go to touch about dividing. Let's go talk about how to get the money, how to use the money, how to become rich, how to do everything, how to obey the police. I don't want to say that all black people don't obey the police, but it's very simple. If the police says, raise your hands, raise your hands. Why are you questioning? I know there are so many things I've done to black people which police did it wrong, 100% wrong. But not all the time black people are only the one going to be victim because of the white racism. There are other situations, and if you go to the data, the white people are more under the hands of the police, killed by the police, more than the black people. But the data is there, but the media doesn't want to show. Why? Because it's not a trending news. Will CNN say, so and so has been done blah 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 by a police, a black police or white police, but it's a white police. But if you say the race is helping you, so while you might have the good intention, but the rise of the critical race theory has been just to be you a victim. And this is the problem. Myself, I'm originally from Africa. It's the same mistake most of the African countries are doing in the education system. Most of the history in Africa we are studying about the history of Europe. We are talking about how Europe underdeveloped Africa. We don't study how Africa can develop on their own. You see the challenge it is. So we are looking how Europe underdeveloped Africa. They did this, they did this. So you are just negative war. And you are just chilling. Oh, I'm poor because white people came here in 1800. In 1960s, we got independence in our country. So what are you doing from 1961 in Tanzania? What are you doing in Kenya since 1963? What are you doing since 1957, 58 in Ghana up to today? Are you still there blaming a white person from Europe? Why can't you change? Find how can we develop today? But we are still studying how these underdeveloped us. So for that particular mistake, we are doing the same mistake on a critical race theory. We are still studying about how white people enslaved black people, how white people are dominant. Yes, we know they did that, but how you black people can go out yourself. Just think about this one. Since this world has started, how many black Olympic swimmers do you know? I remember it was one lady in 2016 Olympic in Brazil, American I'm talking. Majority of swimmers are white because all black people, oh, this is swimming is white thing. Who told you swimming is a white thing? We don't want to do certain things because, oh, this is white, this is black. So let's start with raising the children, especially making sure that if possible to have both parents at home, making sure that they know the value of money, they know how to use money, they know credit system, because the credit system is equalizer. So because of the challenges you are going to get with bad credit, you are going to have the worst deals. Credit will be 24% if you get auto loan, the APR. If you're going to get the home, is you cannot even get it. But while the same person, your same colleague, same age mate, has a good credit because the parent used the child, put as authorized user, even if the child doesn't have that card, but is building the credit of the child. So let's find a way on how we can develop and not how we are going to be the victim. So personally, I'm against the critical race theory because it's more teaching about how white people enslaved black people, how white people, and these things happen in 1800. How is it affecting me now to go to the class, which is a free from kindergarten to high school is a free of charge? Why don't you finish high school? How does that relate to the white person? If you commit a crime, yeah, you'll be going to be incarcerated. Yes, once you are poor, you are likely to end in incarceration, to go into prison. So when these professors, they say, oh, black people, yeah, we know for sure. I don't want to say the white people don't do those kind of things, but black people are fewer, but they do these things in high magnitude because most of them, or most of the black people here, don't get these services. So the teachers, instead of crying and doing everything, if you really want to help black families, don't waste about critical race theory. Focus about things which matter. How can you develop? How can you better? How can you become a millionaire? How can you not be bankrupt in America as a black person? How can you own the business? And not just focusing about how can you get a food stamp? How can you just go and just fight every single day? No. Let's go that way. And this Black Lives Matter is all life matters. It's not about black, it's not about white. It is the right of everybody. When there is injustice from one race, you have to stand. Whether it's Asian, whether it's white, whether it's black, whether it's African, whether it's yellow, I don't care. But not just when something happened to a black person, all white people is against black. But if it's happened to the white person, we are keeping quiet. Injustice for one is injustice for all. So thank you so much. And I'm not saying this one because of the political, Republican, whether it's Democratic. This is the fact. As a parent, I don't want my child to be taught to be a victim. I want my child to be taught to be a victor, to be someone who can go and conquer the world. Not all the time to have excuse, I'm poor because white enslaved us. My child was not enslaved. Or I'm poor because my country was colonized. So what if it was colonized? When was it colonized? So that's all about it for me as a parent.